Interpreting the Film. Eternity, from a Buddhist Perspective Part 21. A Journey of Growth, through tasting suffering.
Hello and welcome to this discussion. Today, we have a very special document in our hands. What kind of document is it? It's a collection of notes on the Buddhist interpretation of the movie Everlasting. It's a record of a conversation between a master and a disciple. They look at the film from a Buddhist perspective. Yes, they analyze it in depth. For example, the psychological journey of the character Shangman, and some of old master's actions, the ones that are a bit hard to understand at first glance. And they also touch on some concepts, like spiritual responsiveness, tests challenges, suffering, and achievement. So, our task today is to help everyone extract the core insights from this conversation. Let's see if this unique perspective offers any surprising or thought-provoking ideas. So, let's take a closer look. Right from the beginning, a term pops up, spiritual responsiveness. The master in the document explains that this isn't just about eyes darting around quickly. It's not superficial. Instead, it refers to a clear gaze filled with love that can see through to the essence of a problem. That sounds a bit profound. I think the key here is that he emphasizes that spiritual responsiveness is based on wisdom and an inner, pure essence. In Buddhism, this is called self-nature. It's a kind of intuitive reaction. So, you see, even though Shangman seems a bit timid at first, once he judges that a customer is a person of potential, his decisive action is not impulsive. It's a manifestation of wisdom. In his eyes, you can't see greed, anger, pride, or doubt. In other words, there are no defilements like greed, anger, pride, and doubt. So, he observes and makes judgments in a very clear state of mind. From this inner quality of spiritual responsiveness, let's look at an external action. This is something many people, including the butler in the document, might not understand. Which part? It's the way old master handles Upati's death. It really feels like he has a heart of stone. He doesn't even perform a basic ritual to send her off. At first, you can't help but feel, how can he be so cold? That's so strange, right? This is where our usual way of thinking is challenged. But from a Buddhist perspective, this is precisely where old master is so clever. Think about it. If old master had stepped in and helped with the rituals, would Shangman have lost the opportunity to face and bear the consequences himself? He would have missed a chance to learn and grow from this event. So, old master's inaction, on the contrary, became the most crucial contributing factor in Shangman's achievement. Contributing factor, right? Here, the document quotes a Buddhist saying, Dharma does not arise in solitude. It needs supporting conditions to be born. This means that the occurrence of an event requires many conditions to align. Old master's inaction was that crucial condition. This also reminds us that we really can't just judge things based on surface-level actions. It's easy to misinterpret, just like the butler did. Now, let's fast forward from this seemingly cruel test. Jump to many years later. When Shangman reappears, there's a small detail that's particularly worth pondering. What detail? He picks a flower to offer to old master when he was a child, and when he met Upati, old master told him not to pick flowers. Yes, he advised him against it, but this time, he took the initiative to pick one. Does this action represent a different meaning? This action actually symbolizes a very profound transformation. The purpose of picking the flower this time is completely different. It's done out of offering and gratitude. This means that at that moment, Shangman can be said to have fully understood the deeper meaning behind all of old master's actions. You mean those tests and challenges? He realized that all of those were for the purpose of helping him achieve. So, old master had become the number one person in his heart. Then he kneels and begs old master not to abandon him. The deeper meaning of this sentence is that he has realized that in the past, he was the one who had lost his way. He was the one who had abandoned the guidance of wisdom that old master represented. So, it's a form of self-reflection. Yes. Now, he is determined to return and take refuge. This is a very deep interpretation. And then, Shangman's subsequent behavior becomes hard to understand again. Right. He seems to have gone a bit crazy later on. He's crying and laughing in the bandit camp. This is a big contrast to his earlier image of having profound wisdom. But the document says that he is practicing the Bodhisattva path. He is doing it to stop the others from creating bad karma. How can we understand this? This highlights the huge difference between a worldly perspective and the realm of a sage. What do ordinary people value? Appearance, fame, wealth. Right, yes. So it's hard to understand why someone would abandon all of that and go live a seemingly difficult life. It's natural to think, is this person crazy? You would definitely think that. In fact, if you look at how many people in history viewed great spiritual practitioners or even geniuses, there might have been similar misunderstandings. But from the perspective of spiritual practice, this disregard for one's external image, for example, wearing ragged clothes or having messy hair, is precisely a manifestation of an untainted heart, free from attachment and clinging. The value of a true sage is never in how glamorous their external appearance is. Finally, the conversation particularly emphasizes one point. That is, you have to personally taste suffering. Just hearing the principles is not enough. You have to actually feel the true taste of the suffering of separation from loved ones and the suffering of not getting what you want, the 8 kinds of suffering mentioned in Buddhism. Only then can you truly cut off your defilements. I think I understand the principle, but it feels very difficult to actually do. This can be said to touch upon the core of the 3 kinds of wisdom in Buddhism: hearing, contemplating, and cultivating. The wisdom of cultivating is the most profound. If you don't personally experience the taste of suffering, it's actually very difficult to truly recognize how destructive your defilements are, how they make us self-harm and self-destruct. Although it sounds unpleasant, the document quotes the treatise on the Samadhi of the King of Treasures, which says, in contemplating the body, do not seek to be without illness. This reminds us that sometimes, being sick or encountering hardship can become an opportunity for spiritual practice. It helps us curb our greed. Of course, the customer who listens to Shangman's story and becomes vigilant has good karmic roots. But for most people, you still need to taste it yourself. The learning will be more deeply ingrained. This discussion has truly been full of wisdom that challenges our intuition. Indeed, from seemingly cruel actions on the surface, we discovered that there might be a deep-seated motivation to help others achieve. From what ordinary people see as madness, we saw a possible state of a sage free from greed. And then it emphasizes that you have to personally experience suffering to truly grow. I think this document constantly reminds us that when we look at things and people, we really can't just stay on the surface, especially when it involves inner motivation and the cultivation of life. So, we want to leave you with a question to ponder. Have there been similar moments in your life? Are there any people or events where, if we tried not to just look at the surface and instead explore the deeper motivations or the struggles of others behind them, we might gain a completely different understanding? And how has this perspective of seeking growth by tasting difficulty or discomfort inspired you personally?